Welcome back, everybody. NVIDIA has taken over the world. Let's get into that. Actually, they just released their earnings today. So yeah, NVIDIA trades at $143.50. Let's get into the earnings report, shall we? By the way, Shamao, the NVIDIA kitty, says to like and subscribe. Okay, so what's going on? Let's first talk about the NVIDIA total TAM. What is their addressable market? And I'm going to focus on artificial intelligence. So yeah, just a few months ago, Lisa Su, AMD CEO, predicts that the AI TAM market will grow to $500 billion by 2028, which is roughly equivalent to annual sales estimate for the entire semiconductor industry in 2023, last year. So yeah, that is enormous. And guess what? NVIDIA is going to get at least 80% of that number. So it's going to be a huge TAM. And it's not just AMD. It's also Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs says big tech to spend $1 trillion on AI in the next 5 years alone. Again, 80% goes to NVIDIA. Maybe even more. So what's going on here is, obviously, as you all know, OpenAI, ChatGPT, LLMs have just taken over the entire mind space of the entire tech industry. People saw that. They said, you know what? We got to spend all of our free cash flow and give it to NVIDIA. We got to train these AI models, these LLMs, and other AI technologies. And we got to improve what we have. We got to redo our search engines. We got to create generative code. We got to do co-pilots. We got to do all these different things. We got to train all this data. And what trains this data? Right now it's the H100 by NVIDIA, soon to be the Blackwell. So anyway, that's the big thing here. Is everybody said we got to get into this, and everybody's doing this. You got Microsoft. You've got Alphabet, Meta, Amazon, Apple, all the big tech firms are spending significant portions of their free cash flow and just saying, hey, NVIDIA, here's our cash. NVIDIA says, thank you very much. So yeah, let's get into it even further. So yeah, we got the Blackwell coming out, and it's coming out soon. It's coming out this quarter, actually. Now, yes, there's a couple of instances, some Seracs overheating. Nobody cares. They'll figure it out soon. The Blackwell is going to take over the market. Why? The Blackwell delivers 4 times faster training and 30 times faster inference than the current H100. So it is an enormous chip. It has enormous memory and compute capabilities. And the way it scales is also out of this world. They're basically tiled. You can tile 2 of them together. And what's the secret sauce actually? What I think is not even Blackwell. There's actually a secret sauce that NVIDIA has that nobody else has right now. They're trying to catch up. Everybody else wants to catch up to the number one king. Everybody wants to catch the king, NVIDIA. But what sets NVIDIA apart from their competitors is actually NVLink. What that is that's the intercommunications between different hardware in the server rack space. And this is a significant speed improvement over, say, Ethernet. A huge speed improvement. And AMD looked at it and said, oh no. Intel looked at that and they said, oh no, we can't compete. So they're actually going together and creating their own variation of the NVLink and trying to catch up in that space. But yeah, everybody else is years behind where NVIDIA is at. And it's not just AI. They're getting into robotics, autonomous driving, and everything else. But right now, the moneymaker is AI. So anyway, let's get into the earnings report themselves. What was expected was $33 billion in earnings and EPS of 75 cents. Obviously, they blow that out of the market. So yeah, let's look at that historically. You can see where the H100 just took off. You can just, actually, let me hide myself really quick. So that one, yeah. Yeah, you can see Q2 2023 is when the H100 started doing enormous numbers, and it's just been doing incrementally $5 billion per quarter, every quarter versus the previous quarter. That's just enormous. And guess what? This last quarter, the previous quarter did $30 billion. This last quarter did $35 billion. Yeah, let's get into that. So here we go, $35 billion. Honestly, it's just a huge number. It's up basically all the numbers doubled. Revenue, double. Net income, double. Operating income, double. Operating expenses are up only 44%. Earnings per share, double, or 111%. It's just everything doubled. And what's the outlook for next quarter? Outlook is expected to be $37.5 billion, plus or minus 2%. I expect them to do $40 billion. Why? Blackwell's going to ramp. People are transitioning to the new, more expensive Blackwell chip. And plus, they blew away last quarter's expectations by $2.5 billion. Why can't they beat this next quarter's expectations likewise by $2.5 billion? But yeah, it's all about Blackwell. And margins are expected to be... Now, the only negative really is margins. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Here's the thing. Margins are expected to be 73 to 75.5%, 73% GAAP, 73.5% non-GAAP. So if you look at it here, they're expecting margins to go down from 74.6% to 73% next quarter. Now, this is actually NVIDIA normalizing. It's not really a bad thing. Why? Because 75% margins on a hardware company is unheard of. Nobody does these numbers. These are incredible numbers. In fact, NVIDIA has currently net income half of Apple. The difference is NVIDIA is doubling in revenues every year currently. Apple's flat, and that's why NVIDIA has a higher market cap. So yeah, gross margins were just insane when they're at 75%. It was unsustainable is what it was. So gross margins are expected to drop. They're going to drop. It was going to happen because the thing is they're going to get some kind of competition because everybody says, you know what, these margins are huge. We got to start making these chips ourselves. Microsoft's going to make their own AI chips. Google's going to make their own AI chips. AWS is going to make their own AI chips. Then obviously you have AMD. So that's why I say NVIDIA is going to get 80% plus of the market, not 100%, because there is going to be some sort of competition in this space. But yeah, NVIDIA is going to get the massive mind share of this market because they are, in fact, years ahead. Like I just mentioned before, you got NVLink, you got the GB200 supercomputer, you got the Quantum X, whatever it is, switch, the Spectrum switch. All these different products that NVIDIA is making, they're making entire data centers. All the components for a data center, plus the CPUs. They're making Grace CPUs as well, an ARM-based CPU, to match their Blackwell GPUs. So it'll be 2 Blackwell GPUs and a Grace CPU in a cluster that they're going to sell to these companies. And they're going to sell these by the bucket loads. Everybody wants them. Tesla wants them. OpenAI wants them. Everybody needs these chips because they got trained these large models. The thing is, what makes this chip so special is the huge amount of memory and the huge amount of memory bandwidth because the models are getting bigger. Let's take Tesla, for example. Tesla's training compute is increasing 4x year over year. That 4x training compute means they need 4 times the training performance just from last year to this year to train their full self-driving system. How are they going to get this 4x compute, which also requires 4x memory? Because it's also going to have 4 times the number of parameters in this compute system. It's going to require 4 times the amount of memory also. So you got 4x compute, 4 times memory. They got to get this new Blackwell chip. And this goes for everybody. Everybody's expanding to include more and more data in order to train their systems. And also for inferencing. This is going to be an inference monster. It has 30 times the inferencing compared to the H100. So yeah, this is just going to be a monster. Again, just look at this chart. it's going up exponentially quarter over quarter, and that's going to continue. The yearly gains are going to not be quite as good as 100%. Obviously, you can't reach God, essentially. You can't gain 100% a year every year forever because you would be bigger than the earth itself. But yeah, they're going to continue monstrous numbers, and they have zero real competition. What else do we have? Those are the major numbers there. Again, these are the margins. Their margins are magnificent. So that said, what is NVIDIA worth today? Again, they're currently trading at $143 per share. The market cap is $3.6 nearly trillion. So given their growth trajectory, what do you think NVIDIA's intrinsic value is? What do you think their share price will be in 12 months? Let me know down in the comments. If you want to know what I think NVIDIA is going to be worth in 12 months, check out my Patreon. You can get in for as little as $5 per month. And guess what? I have a 7-day free trial. And from that free trial, you can figure out what I think NVIDIA's intrinsic value currently is. And you can figure out for free. I do DCF valuations in over 15 different companies. I got NVIDIA, Tesla, AMD, and like 13 other companies. I do deep dives on these companies. I got 15, 16-page reports on these companies. So yeah, this is the best deal you'll ever find. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.